Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Mega Pokemon in the world of Pokemon Go, Mega Sableye. Mega Sableye is a Dark and Ghost type Pokemon with the moveset of Shadow Claw, Foul Play, and Return. Sableye itself is already a top meta pick in the Open Great League, and Mega Sableye is the same as regular, but with better stats. If Niantic ever allowed this thing into the Open Great League, it would absolutely shred. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out some practice Great League battles featuring Mega Sableye. Hopping into the first match, and we've got Mirror Leads Tapu Fini versus Tapu Fini. I'm going to stay in this matchup to start because my Frostlass doesn't do the best against opposing Tapu Finis. I go for the Moonblast. Unfortunately, I do lose CMP. Opponent does not bait. Moonblast nearly KOs, but I'm able to hang on with the sliver of HP and return fire with a Moonblast of my own. I look to save switch into Mega Sableye, and now we get to see the matchup we've been waiting for, Mega Sableye versus the regular. Regular Sableye does have a higher attack stat, so it will typically win CMP, but Mega Sableye has a better bulk. So as you're going to see here, they can go for the Foul Play. Mega Sableye able to tank that pretty decently and make another Foul Play. Opponent is already in the yellow health here. Foul Play is going to be shielded. Mega Sableye almost able to make another Foul Play as well. And now I send in the Frostlass. My opponent is able to make it to the back-to-back moves here, and I'm going to have to double shield. But Frostlass up energy is extremely deadly. I just have to watch for a catch onto my opponent's 1 HP Tapu Fini. Foul Play will be shielded. Frostlass gets the farm down. We'll have to see what do they have in the back. They have their own Frostlass. I wait a turn and they still catch onto the Tapu Fini. You have got to be kidding me. What a beautiful catch from my opponent. But the good news is I just had too much energy on my Frostlass. I make the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball KOs my opponent. And that's a good game. Picking up a decent lead in the next match, Tapu Fini into Sableye. Considering I have Frostlass in the back, I'm very happy to catch the Sableye on the lead. Sableye does farm up to a return. Sableye's often like to bait, so I risk it, and my opponent does bait. That's quite nice. I'm going to farm up and fire off the Surf. This should be very close to KOing here. Surf is going to KO. My opponent sends in their own Tapu, so very similar teams to last game, and I'm going to send in my Mega Sableye. Tapu is going to strike first, so I will immediately commit a shield. My opponent is just going to go for the Surf bait, so I may as well bait back. I overfarm a ton of energy, and I'm going for the Foul Play bait here. Foul Play is going to be shielded by the Tapu Fini. Tapu firing off another charge move here. This is going to be the Surf. As we saw, I was able to KO their Sableye with the Surf, but I am running Mega Sableye. It is tankier, able to withstand the damage, make the return, and force the final shield from the Tapu. Tapu gets the farm down. I'm going to bring in my own Tapu and go for the Surf. This will not KO, but it will get my opponent incredibly low. Their Tapu deep into the red. In the back, they have a Azumarill, and now I can send in Frostlass. Frostlass can do quite well here up a shield, as my opponent's Play Rough is not going to be enough to KO. Play Rough will connect. I can throw one Powder Snow and the Shadow Ball, and from here, they should be 4 bubbles off of their next Play Rough, so I can very safely throw 6 Powder Snows, go for the Shadow Ball on this CMP tie, denying their opportunity to grab my final shield. Shadow Ball KOs the Azumarill, and 1 Powder Snow takes down the Tapu Fini. We see a terrible lead in the next match, Tapu Fini into Shadow Venusaur. I'm going to save switch into Mega Sableye. Opponent is going to counter switch into a Registeel. Now this is a matchup that Mega Sableye does have the ability to flip. I'm going to be firing off the Foul Play here. Foul Play will connect, and even though I did take some chip damage from the Vine Whips, Mega Sableye, as I mentioned, is tankier than the regular. So I am able to tank the Zap Cannon, and the Regi is not going to be able to lock on farm me down. I'm firing off the Foul Play. Foul Play is going to connect, getting them incredibly low, and I'm at Foul Play number 3, putting pressure on my opponent's shield. They're going to let it go, and instead choose to get farm on the Shadow Venusaur. That is not good news for me, and Shadow Venusaur can even do well into Frostlass. Frenzy Plant will do a ton of damage here. Opponent misclicks on the Sludge Bomb. That's slightly fortunate for me, and in the back, they have Umbreon. So I was basically hard countered, but Mega Sableye able to win switch in the mid game, and now I'm in a significantly better spot. This Umbreon is running Psychic as its secondary charge move, so I just have to hope for no debuff. They're going to fire off Psychic number 2. We do not see the debuff, and now I'm down shields. I have to generate some kind of advantage, so I'm going to start baiting. Surf bait will get the shield. Umbreon can just go straight Foul Play in this moment. I have to start shielding something, so I will shield up the foul play. I'm farming up to the Moonblast, and I'm gonna bait with a Surf. I have to watch for a potential snipe with the Venusaur. I continue to farm up. Opponent sends in the Venusaur. I'm able to hang on to my energy and make it to the Avalanche on the Frostlass. Avalanche KOs the Shadow Venusaur. In comes the Umbreon. Umbreon able to outpace and go for the foul play. Will this be enough to KO? Foul play onto the Frostlass. Frostlass hangs on with low HP and makes it to the Avalanche. Avalanche onto the Umbreon. Gets the knockout. And that's a good game. We've got a Core Breaker on the lead in the next match, Tapu Fini into Lantern. I save switch into Mega Sableye, and my opponent is staying in this matchup. Honestly, this is ideal for me. I need to get chip damage onto the Lantern because this is going to be a team effort to get rid of it. Foul play, will connect, it's a CMP tie, I'm going to let this through. I'm able to tank whatever they throw here, they go for the Surf, and now they're going to send in Shadow Charizard, and I'm going with the foul play. This is going to do a ton of damage to the Charizard. Charizard will let that through. Charizard throwing with a sliver of HP remaining, but my Shadow Claw went through, so I can shield. The Shadow Claw will KO, and I leave with a foul play to threaten the HP of the Lantern. Is the opponent going to send in the Lantern and look for the Water Gun Snipe? Yes, they will, but the good news is I'm able to make it to the foul play. Foul play gets him low. I'm going to give up switch and send in Tapu Fini. The reason being, I want to try and preserve that Mega Sableye for a catch later in the game. This will be the Thunderbolt. I decide to let it through in the back. It's a Frostlass, and suddenly, I wish I had kept my Tapu Fini healthy. I'm going to be able to make it to multiple Surfs here, but if the Frostlass commits the farm down, this is probably going to be game over. Frostlass up energy is incredibly deadly considering I have a Frostlass of my own waiting in the back. They get the farm down. I'm going to fully wait my clock. My only hope is a catch. So I'm going to send in my own Frostlass, throw 2, and we get the catch onto the Mega Sableye. Maybe there is a chance. It was the Avalanche bait. I send back in my own Frostlass, just looking for the farm down. They have so much energy here. I commit the shield. It's the Avalanche bait. Can they make the Shadow Ball? They cannot. All that's left is the Lantern, and I make the double Avalanche, which means against all odds, this will be a win. Opponent lets the Avalanche through, and that's game over. We see a Core Breaker on the lead in the next match, Tapu Fini into Jumpluff. I'm going to save switch into Mega Sableye, but I'm taking super effective damage from these Fairy Winds. I will respect the potential acrobatics, that hits incredibly hard. I get baited with an Energy Ball, and the Energy Ball debuffs my defense as well to add insult to injury. So things just going from bad to worse in this game. Foul play will connect, but now I'm in a really tough spot. I'm down shields, my defense is debuffed. Mega Sableye does typically do better than the regular versus G-Fisk, but unfortunately, due to that defense debuff, that is no longer the case. I'm going to foul play. Foul play will not quite put it in farm down range, so I'm forced to go for another foul play. We'll have to see, is my opponent willing to shield? They are not. They are conceding switch advantage as they get their 2 shields. My opponent in the back, they have Shadow Swampert, and this is incredibly bad. Swampert up 2 shields basically beats everything. I'm going to farm up with the Mega Sableye, switch into the Tapu Fini, and we catch a Hydro Cannon. This is step 1. Swampert, Hydro not going to do a lot. They farm up a little bit, but they did not bank a Hydro Cannon. They are 1 short. Back in comes the Jumpluff. This Energy Ball is going to absolutely crush my Tapu Fini, but now I can send in Frostlass. Double super effective Powder Snow is tearing through the Jumpluff, and I need to try and commit to the farm down here. The Swampert does not have a move loaded, so I can actually potentially have a win con. I'm able to get the full farm down. I leave with the back-to-back Avalanches. The Mud Shot that sneaks means I believe they should now be at a charge move. I'm going to look for a catch onto the Sableye. Opponent hangs onto their energy, but Sableye makes the foul play. This is a Shadow Swampert. It's not tanky. We get them low. They cannot double up on moves, and that's a good game. We've got another Core Breaker in the next match, Tapu Fini into Registeel. I'm going to save switch into the Mega Sableye. My opponent is staying in this matchup, so I'm going to fire off the foul play. I want to get damage onto the Reggie before they potentially debuff me with a Zap Cannon. This is enough for the Zap. I'm going to let this through. Zap connects onto the Mega Sableye. No debuff. In comes Mega Altaria, and I cannot make the return. Mega Altaria is a Dragon Fairy type, so the foul play would have done absolutely nothing. In a battle of Megas, it looks like my opponent definitely has the upper hand here as this Altaria is absolutely loaded. I commit the shield. I'm looking for the farm down, and I do not get there, and I'm going to have to commit my final shield to save this energy. This is just absolutely terrible for me. My opponent can send back in the Registeel. Registeel still has a decent amount of HP, and unfortunately, I don't think they're in Shadow Ball range. Shadow Ball connects onto the Reggie. That's not going to KO. In the back, it's Pelipper, and I think, unfortunately, this is going to be game over. I don't even think a catch of a Weather Ball is going to save me. I'm still going to try for it, but my opponent shows great patience hanging onto their energy, and a Hurricane will put me in farm down range. So unfortunately, in the battle of Great League Mega Pokemon, I will not emerge victorious. I'm not at the Moonblast, but this is still an incredibly safe shield for my opponent, as they're going to leave with energy loaded. My Frostlass does not have a move. Weather Ball KOs the Frostlass, and that's game over. Picking up a decent lead in the next match, Tapu Fini into Shadow Swampert. This is probably where I'm most comfortable seeing the Swampert, due to the fact that they have to go for an Earthquake if they want to deal any meaningful damage. My opponent goes for a Surf Catch onto Dugong, but I'm able to hang on to my energy, go for the Moonblast, and get some nice chip damage. I'm going to wait for them to throw in case they want to debuff with Icy Wind, but my opponent is just going to go for the damage with the Drill Run. And now I can send in Mega Sableye. Mega Sableye, unfortunately, due to the one-turn swap, is going to be outpaced by a turn, but I can tank the Icy Wind, and now I'm going to fully commit to the farm down here. Sableye leaves with so much loaded energy to threaten the Swampert. Opponent could send back in the Swampert here, but Swampert's going to have to deal with a lot of energy on the Sableye. Swampert could have won CMP there, choosing not to throw. I continue to farm with the Sableye. Opponent is going to fire off the Hydro Cannon. I will commit the shield as I have a lot of energy on the Mega Sableye, so I want to try and get use out of it. I'm firing off the Foul Play. Foul Play is going to be double shielded. I'm farming up, looking for the catch onto the Tapu. I do not get the catch, but my opponent underestimates Tapu Fini's energy. Surf KOs. In the back, there is a Shadow, Powder Snow, Alolan Ninetales. Ninetales is going to fire off a charge move as they did not want me to make the Moonblast, but now it's time for Mega Sableye to shine, using every bit of that extra bulk, withstanding the Powder Snows to get to the return. Get that Ninetales out of here, and that's a good game. Hopping into the final match, leading Tapu Fini into Dragonite. This is a pretty interesting matchup in the Great League, because of course Tapu Fini has the massive edge when it comes to typing, but has to farm all the way up to a Moonblast if it wants to deal anything but resisted damage. I'm going to bait with the Surf. Surf will get a shield from the Dragonite. Dragonite bangs a ton of energy. In comes Shadow Drapion. Shadow Drapion is an absolute menace. I fire off the Moonblast. Big damage, and the Water Guns KO, denying Drapion a move. In comes Tapu Fini of their own, and I'm going to send in Mega Sableye. Sableye trying to make it to the return, but I will get outpaced here. Sableye would not appreciate the Moonblast. I commit the shield, and it's a Surf Bait. That's quite unfortunate. I'm full sending the return, though. I want to see, can we land this return? Gets the KO. In comes the Dragonite. Dragonclaw will not KO here. Opponent running Outrage on the Dragonite, the spicy moveset. Oh my goodness. We're looking for the farm down. We can't quite get there. Opponent running Superpower and Outrage on the Dragonite. Look at the spice. And that's game over. All in all, if Niantic ever decided to allow Mega Sableye into the Great League, in my opinion, it would honestly be an upgrade over the standard Purified Sableye that people have been using. The extra bulk is quite nice in a lot of situations, and that does end up flipping some very important matchups. I will say it would also be cheaper in terms of not having to use XL candies, but there are definitely concerns in terms of having to have the Mega Energy to actually Mega Evolve it to use it. So maybe for like a limited cup or something, that could be fun in the future. But in my view, it is worth grabbing some of the energy in case they do decide to allow it, let's say for a week in the future, because Mega Sableye is an absolute menace. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.